Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/citizenho. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Hello there.
Hola!
And welcome to a very special 120th episode of Citizen Ho.
Very special because we're actually recording.
I was going to go very special because we're going to help you get over your meth addict addiction.
My meth addict addiction?
Yes, your meth addict addiction. Kevin's addicted to meth. This is an intervention.
No, I'm just addicted to meth addicts.
Yes. Kevin goes out and blows meth addicts. He's in the Bronx now, folks. And the show went downhill real quickly today.
Yeah, what else is new?
Sorry, we've been a little MIA.
Could it have gone any further downhill?
Touche.
Oh.
Sorry, all 7 of you that listen to this. We've been a little MIA lately. It's just been...
life happens.
Yeah. Because sometimes shit happens, and who are you going to call?
No. I try not to acknowledge that movie too much.
Okay. If you take it as its own and don't compare it to the original, it's not a bad movie. The problem is that it's a sequel.
It's still kind of a stupid...
And it has its moments.
It has its moments,
Viggy,
but
Viggy,
it's still just a stupid premise of, all this evil slime running under New York City makes everybody upset.
Did you see the new one?
Yeah, I saw it.
What'd you think?
Or most of it. I forget if it's okay.
I liked it more than the reviews gave it, I felt.
It seems to me, and I think you told me this, is that the ghosts in it look a little too cartoony.
They look too Scooby-Doo-ish.
Yeah. They reminded me of the Scooby-Doo movies.
Well, he directed them. Paul Feig is the director of the Scooby-Doo movies.
Okay, then. Well, then that would make sense.
Pretty sure. I'm going to double check that.
But, yeah, it was a little too jokish, I guess, which is some of what you had in the second one, which is one of the reasons why I don't like the second one in the first place. But, yeah, the first one was... not that it was... the first one was clearly a comedy, but it just wasn't that jokey. The humor was more in the, just the ridiculousness
and
of
some
of the situations.
And the plot was a little more, I actually thought the 4 girls... someone text me? I don't know. I think the 4 girls they chose to play the Ghostbusters were well cast. I think Chris Hemsworth stole the movie.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Like, he does...
He was basically the reverse of...
Janine Velnitz.
Well, no, he was the reverse... He was just the reverse stereotype, basically.
Yeah, a dumb blonde.
But he's a dumb blonde guy who gets himself into trouble and needs the girls to rescue him.
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked, but...
I didn't like the villain. I thought the villain was weak in that movie. The guy trying to, using technology to bring...
Oh, yeah.
I'm more of a natural progression of those things where I would have liked the infestation. I don't know if that's the right word. Though I like the opening scene I thought was great. That they did really well. With Jared.
Huh?
The guy who plays Jared.
Oh, okay. I just don't remember the opening scene.
In the mansion.
Maybe I haven't seen that part.
Basically, there's this mansion in New York that's actually in Boston. And he's a tour guide there, and he gives a tour of it, and he does this fake thing, make people think it's haunted, and it turns out it really is haunted. It was kind of like it was their version of the library scene.
Oh, okay. Sure. I'll have to go back and try and watch the beginning of that.
So, we're going to go back a month right now. So everyone put on there.
Yeah, sure.
Let's pretend it's the middle of March, okay? Actually, the end of March.
At the end of March or maybe middle of April.
Yeah, let's pretend it's April. Beginning of April. And Ready Player One is still in the theaters.
Boy, that left quickly.
No, movies don't really stay around in the theaters that long.
Yeah, except for Star Wars
or the Marvel movies.
Yeah,
but I need to take one of these out. It always annoys me.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna give you our review of Ready Player One. So sit down, relax, open up a nice bottle of Chianti, some fava beans, and
Chianti.
So my fine feathered friend will start with his review.
Who has feathers?
Yeah, you could use a haircut. It looks feathery.
Nah.
Black and white. Starting to get a little thin on top. I know I shouldn't talk, but you are.
Yeah, I've noticed. Anyway. No, my thoughts are... So, number one, they veered strongly away from the actual plot of the book, but they tried to keep the spirit of it, and I think overall it worked. I think they came up with some pretty creative ideas, and visually it was just a fun movie to watch between the virtual reality and just all of the, for lack of a better term, all of the little pop culture Easter eggs that were thrown all over the place.
Yeah.
And it was a fun movie to watch, but at the same time, as far as faithfulness to the book, it
didn't need to be.
Well, did it need to be? No, because what they did worked, but I would still argue that...
The live version of Joust would have been cool to watch.
Was it a live version of Joust?
Wasn't that the first Easter egg?
The first key? No,
Yeah.
It wasn't live Joust. It was he played a Joust arcade game against the Lich King in that dungeon.
Oh, I thought he actually went on I thought he had to ride the birds and stuff.
No, it was just him playing it, because I remember the whole thing with the Lich King put the quarter in or something.
I read the book 4 years ago.
Okay. See, I've read the book multiple times just because I enjoy reading things and watching movies multiple times. But
I'll watch more than read. The only thing I've read multiple times is probably Harry Potter.
Oh well.
But
I mean that would have been a cool scene to watch. Also, as a Rush fan, I think including or somehow working in the whole thing where he has to play the guitar riff from Temples of Xerxes. That would have been cool.
From what I understand, Rush is very restrictive about giving rights to their songs in movies. There's been a couple of exceptions, like I Love You Man and stuff like that, when they actually were in the movie. But Rush is a little stringent about giving the rights away.
Well, it's not giving the rights away, but allowing us their song. But I mean, Tom Sawyer was used in one of the early trailers, and then it wasn't really used at all in the rest of in the actual movie.
I liked the
other thing is because Rush has gained some semblance of popularity, because there are a lot of famous people now who were Rush fans growing up.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I know Rush doesn't always give their rights. I know they're a little stingy.
But also one other thing about Rush is they're nerdy guys.
True.
They would. I can see them actually appreciating a book like this.
The cost wasn't worth. They didn't want to pay. The rights were too expensive. You never know.
That's possible.
Anyway,
I thought is but
the movie was very Spielbergian.
Yeah,
and because I'm theming 90% of his movies is always hope.
Yeah.
I think visually, I think it was done well. I would have liked it a little more if they did a little more mocap than just true CGI. If they made the avatars look a little more like the real people. I know there's exceptions to that, but at least the main couple. If Parzival looked a little more like Wade in the thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then actually that brings back another thing from the book that
the transformations and stuff.
Not so much the transformation, but the thing about Wade. There's the whole thing when I remember when I first saw the trailer, when I found out that the whole movie was set in Columbus. It's okay, there goes Wade being from Oklahoma, which I was like, okay, fine, I get that.
That's exposition. But, they just that'll slow the movie down.
Yeah, but what I thought would have been interesting to find a way to include is how after he does get the copper key. Mm-hmm. He is able, he moves into his own apartment.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole thing of him becoming the recluse,
mm-hmm.
and the fact that he's sort of he's kind of a pudgy kid, and also even the idea that he's a high school kid, which obviously in the movie he's not a student anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's stuff that would have, I think, might have slowed it down. That's why they
maybe and don't a lot of it I get.
Klein was very
some of it are things that I just think would have been cool to have included.
Klein was very involved in the making of the movie as well as screenplay approval.
Yeah, I know.
So everything they did, they had his approval for.
Yeah, but just because it has his approval doesn't mean I have to fully agree with it either.
Where I think Armada I didn't like as much, but I think it could make the way the story's structured, I think it could be a more faithful adaptation.
Weren't you telling me once that it basically already is a movie?
Yeah, it's called The Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
The Last Starfighter basically is this alien culture puts these video games on Earth to recruit starfighters, and he has to go to this alien. He's the best one on the planet. They recruit him, and he goes defeats the Armada.
Okay. Armada is obviously a little different, but
yeah, it's
not
similar.
by much.
I think the rights were given away. I think they
book?
bought the rights to it.
Yeah, I think I saw something.
And Klein's working on a sequel to Ready Player One. I think called Ready Player 2.
Okay.
That was my biggest miss. I felt the way they could have shown the title Ready Player One was when he logged into the Oasis, because that's where the name comes from. Ready Player One. I think that would have been a good title sequence, but
showing it as like the 1980s pixelated text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the way they did a couple of interesting things were the way they did the quarter worked instead of him playing the Pac-Man game.
Yeah. No, that was cool. I do feel like,
Switching
Og's involvement could have been,
could have been a little bit more, but like
a little bit more.
The way
or
they
might
did
have
it,
been
like he
a
was
little bit
there
more
without
faithful to the book.
making him.
But
like
again, some of this, and a lot of this is just opinion. And I think the movie worked.
Things that I think that were good is the way they captured Artemis, and she was the mole. By the way, spoilers.
Yeah.
Probably should have said in the beginning.
Anyway.
Movie's not been out a month. If you haven't seen it, tough shit.
Yeah, basically.
Like instead of capturing Wade, they captured Artemis.
Oh, yeah.
I think that actually worked.
No, that worked.
The whole him trying to get into debt just didn't. And I felt
the way that they did it in the book is that he basically just hacked into his own account records and made himself be in debt when actually the money was all still there. He just moved all the money. I think he left all the money in an account under Wade Watts and then created a new identity that was in debt.
Again, no. The one thing I found interesting is Spielberg was very hesitant to use his own properties in the movie.
Yeah.
And they did a little more than just 80s. There was a lot of 90s stuff in there. Like, I saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was like 89. Jurassic Park came out in, 94, 93?
Then, they had King Kong.
Which was 1939, I want to say.
The original was somewhere thereabouts.
The race was actually kind of cool, though.
The race itself was cool. It was, again, visually, it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's my mom. We'll call her back later.
Tell Leslie I say hi.
She gets upset when I put her on the podcast.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
Overall, I would give it, let's see, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being Batman and Robin, 10 being Empire Strikes Back. Where do you rate this?
I'd say solid 7 to 8.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. Is that a good rating scale?
Sure.
All right. And while we're on this nostalgia kick, good friend of ours that we haven't seen in over 20 years.
Yeah, good friend of ours that we haven't seen in 20 years.
23 to be exact.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Cobra Kai came out. I'm in the middle of episode 10. Kevin's only gone through episode 2. So we'll try to do a spoiler-free review. I couldn't say that.
Review/discussion.
Yeah. So I'll start on this one. I think it's excellent. I really feel that it granted, I can't remember the last time I saw the original Karate Kid, and I'm going to try to watch it this week because there's a lot of things I don't remember. But I feel it really captures the spirit of it. I feel that they make Johnny Lawrence a much more complex character than he was in the original movie. He was a very one-dimensional bully in the movie.
Yeah, well, that's all they needed for that movie, and yeah, it was the 80s. But yeah, a lot of it was that they were kind of showing they're showing things from Johnny's perspective.
Yeah. There's one scene where he talks to his student and basically recaps the entire movie from his perspective.
Yeah,
and you actually almost feel for him. I don't know how much How I Met Your Mother you saw, but Barney's favorite movie is The Karate Kid. But to him, The Karate Kid is Johnny Lawrence, and Daniel LaRusso's the villain.
Right. Well, so yeah, this new guy shows into town, moves in on his girl,
Yeah.
And then
kicks his ass.
Yeah, well, then his teacher comes in and beats the crap out of him and his friends, and then arranges for them to be in this tournament together, and then ends up beating him with an illegal kick.
It wasn't illegal.
That was part of his excuse at the first episode when he shows up in the car dealership.
But it wasn't.
He says it was an illegal kick.
No, it wasn't.
He says it was.
But the thing is like, again, I think there's a big thing for nostalgia going on right now, specifically to the 1980s.
Yeah, well, it's now 30 years in the past. What was Back to the Future? In some ways, a nostalgia trip for the 1950s. 30 years in the past. That happens a lot.
Happy Days came out in what, the late 70s, early 80s?
Happy Days came out in the 70s, mid to late 70s, and went into the early 80s. I think it ended in like 82 or 83.
It was on the air for a long time. Wasn't that for like 7 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because that was like the nostalgia thing.
Yeah, well, that was nostalgia for the 50s, but it was only 20 years after the fact.
Yeah. But overall, like, there was one scene that I'm going to spoil for you. It's basically Johnny and Daniel. Johnny's test driving one of Daniel's cars, and REO Speedwagon comes on, and the two of them start singing to it together.
I'm kind of surprised that he actually goes to test drive one of. Test drive one.
Do you care if I spoil things, or I don't want to spoil it?
Okay, don't spoil it.
Okay. And my favorite line in the entire series is these kids are having a party, and one of the kids says something, and he just looks at him and goes, "That's the most McConaughey thing I've ever heard."
McConaughey?
Like Matthew McConaughey?
Oh.
It's just funny. Overall, though, it's one of my favorite streaming series. Just above Stranger Things, but below Voltron.
Yeah. And to just further explain, one of the creators of the series and I think the main writer, Josh Heald, was on a teen trip to Israel with us back in 1995, and I believe we have not seen him since. In fact, I'm 98% sure we have not seen him since.
We're going to try.
Although we have corresponded occasionally.
Yeah. He actually thanked me. I actually messaged him. We may try to get him as a guest on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll see if we can work that.
Ask him who has the bigger dick, Billy Zabka or Ralph Macchio. Question everyone wants to know.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure Josh has examined that. Schmuck.
He also co-wrote the Hot Tub Time Machine duology.
Yes,
and a movie
was
called
also
Marty.
I think I was a writer at the very least on Harold and Kumar Go to Escape Guantanamo Bay, and he had a bit
cameo
part in that. He had a cameo.
Well,
in that.
The two guys that he's co-executive producer with, that he co-created with, those are the Howard and Kumar guys, Hayden Schlossberg and John Hurwitz.
Yeah, okay.
I think they were like roommates in Penn together.
Quite possibly. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, we could ask him, wondering if we ever talk to him again. He was just in New York too. It sucks.
Oh yeah, he was here for Tribeca.
Yeah, he was like at the New York Stock Exchange. I'm like, I should walk over. It's like right down the block from my office.
Slacker.
Anywho, so Donald Trump's still president. So there's an ancient Vulcan proverb: only Nixon could go to China. Apparently, only Trump could go to North Korea.
Okay, so that's a Vulcan proverb.
It's a joke from a Star Trek movie. Which, ironically,
yes,
Star Trek 6 is explaining what's going on in North Korea. If you believe the Chinese report about that mountain.
Okay, what's in Star Trek 6?
The plot of Star Trek 6 is this Klingon moon explodes and causes an ecological disaster for the Empire, where they have to enter negotiations with the Federation or it'll destroy their atmosphere on their homeworld.
Now we're veering into Spaceballs.
Okay, that too, but that's really what Star Trek 6 is.
Okay. So what, the collapsed mountain is
it's like
causing an ecological disaster for them?
Well, it's Chernobyl.
Could be.
Yeah, that's what Star Trek 6 was Chernobyl.
Yeah, I saw or read something basically that their theory was that Kim Jong-un's father was apparently really good at like playing up the card of some kind of card where basically he could gripe or say something to the rest of the world that he needed money, and he was able to get money to help continue to fund his regime and keep his country going. Kim Jong-un this article's theory was basically that Kim Jong-un is just not as good at that as his father was, and he's,
they have no money.
The country's falling apart.
They're economically destroyed. They're ecologically destroyed, and
and that's
they have
probably
no
why
choice.
he was pursuing the nuclear weapons in the first place. It was a game of chicken.
Yeah, and he lost.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: we were never going to.
And I mean, to some degree, Trump was right in trying to push him, but I think the way he went about it was stupid and reckless.
We were never going to nuke North Korea.
I think most people's concern wasn't about us nuking North Korea. It was
about
North Korea
India.
nuking us or Japan or some other country.
I was really shocked how close North Korea was to South Korea. You ever notice that the corrupt regimes always have the funniest names?
The what?
Like corrupt regimes.
Oh, corrupt.
Do you know what the official name of North Korea is?
The Democratic
People's Republic of Korea.
Yeah.
What's the official name of China? The People's Republic of China.
Yeah.
The United States of America. Corrupt regimes.
Uh-huh.
And this whole Stormy Daniels thing, this is like Monica Lewinsky 20 years ago.
Somewhat, but I think the big difference is that is with Monica Lewinsky, the Republicans tried to go after Clinton because he lied about having an affair with her.
Which
that was
Trump lied about having. It wasn't under oath, though.
Yeah, it wasn't under oath. Yeah, Trump lied about but also the other thing is that Stormy Daniels happened before he was president. Lewinsky happened while he was president.
But my issue,
the issue with Stormy Daniels isn't the affair itself.
It's the hush money.
It's the
came from.
The hush money, and I find it odd that first Trump says, "Oh yeah, I didn't know anything about the payoff," which I knew, which I said immediately when I heard that. I was like,
bullshit.
"No way! There's no way your lawyer is going to shell out six figures to somebody and you don't know about it and you're not somehow paying for it."
I doubt a lawyer would shell out four figures without you knowing.
Yeah, that's a complete load of crap. But anyway, Trump made his denial. Then Giuliani, a few days ago, goes on TV and essentially admits that, Trump did know about it because the lawyer was repaid via 4 retainer payments of like $35,000 each or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, Trump basically confirms all of that in his tweet storm the next morning. Mm-hmm. But then just a few days later, he's trying to back away from it all over again. It's just,
the thing is like,
you know what? Own up to it and just say, look, it was done with my personal money. It had nothing to do with campaign money.
I mean, I know
which is going to be what his argument in the end is going to be anyway.
No, they have to prove
He's
it.
already tried to make the argument of, oh yes, I think he said in one of his tweets, he said, oh yes, this happens all the time with wealthy people.
So you're not as I wouldn't say you're pro-Trump. I don't think you're as anti-Trump as I am.
No, I'm definitely not pro-Trump. I'm not quite as strongly anti-Trump as you are. But
okay, do you feel he's had any significant accomplishments as president?
The only accomplishment that I would give him is the tax law
and the Supreme Court justice.
I wouldn't. He got it done, but the way he got it done was shitty.
Agreed. So, people are saying, oh, he's done so much, and I'm just like, what has he done?
Where's the accomplishment been?
I mean,
what laws has he passed? He passed the only real law he passed was the tax bill. Everything else was an executive order, which ironically is what he used to complain about Obama doing.
The other thing is he's taking the stock market going up. It was already going up.
Yeah.
Unemployment is at
unemployment
the lowest.
Going down. It was already going down.
If you look at what would happen when Obama was in office compared to when he left, it was crazy. Unemployment went down by and unemployment's a bullshit figure anyway, but
to a large degree because it doesn't include people who aren't claiming unemployment
because it's only 6 months long,
right.
Or people who aren't working and not eligible to collect unemployment for other reasons.
Yeah. Then there's underemployment.
Correct. Which I think is a bigger problem.
Oh, yes.
I tried for a long time not to vote down party lines, but lately I feel like I can't support a party that supports this level of corruption in government without any... I believe in checks and balances. I don't think it's good for any one party to have full control.
No, and I agree. I definitely agree there.
I also think we need to
But as far as saying one party is particularly corrupt, they're both corrupt.
I know, but I'm not
Let's
talking about
just
the party. I'm talking about what's going on right now, and the Republicans are actively trying to hurt the investigation. If there's nothing there, let the investigation go through. What are you afraid of?
Because they think it's a waste of time and money.
Like they haven't wasted time and money.
Yeah, well, nobody ever feels that way about what they're doing. It's always what the other guy's doing. Mm-hmm. That's the problem.
The moral of the story is I don't know if Mueller's going to time the collusion. I've said this before. I think obstruction of justice is what's going to take him down.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to be able to get him on collusion, and I suspect that there probably wasn't any real collusion.
I believe they colluded I bet they're colluding now with themselves to show that they didn't collude with Russia.
Maybe. No, I don't think there was any active collusion, but clearly there was contact between representatives of the Russian government and people from Trump's campaign.
Yeah.
There was some contact.
There's enough there's enough obvious evidence right now where the investigation I feel needs to go through. Granted, I'm not an attorney, nor do I play one on TV, nor do I play one on this podcast. Yeah. But there's enough stuff coming out where you have to let it continue, I feel.
Yeah, but they don't want to because they're called, and part of it has to do with their rhetoric. Trump's rhetoric about the whole investigation is, it's a witch hunt. It's complete nonsense. So that's his, that's his take on it.
Monica Lewinsky was found out during the Whitewater investigation.
Yeah, I remember.
And I didn't follow news as closely then as I do now, probably because I was a stupid 18-year-old.
18? It was less than 18. Well,
it was 98. It was the impeachment trial.
Yes, that was the impeachment trial.
The Monica Lewinsky stuff, I think he came in
Monica Lewinsky
was while we were in college.
I think it just started coming out when we were seniors in high school. I think.
So 18.
Yeah. But I mean, the Republicans were battling with Clinton well before that anyway.
Yeah. I think at least one of the houses is going to flip in November.
I think so, yeah.
I'd like both of them to, but I don't think that's going to happen. Regardless, even if they get enough votes in the House, they're never going to get enough votes in the Senate to impeach. The House, you need a simple majority to call for articles of impeachment. You need 2/3 of the Senate to convict on impeachment.
Yeah, impeachment is that's tricky. They need to, if they want to get away with it. He'll resign.
Like Nixon would have been impeached. He resigned. Nixon would have been convicted.
No, Nixon was impeached.
Nixon was not impeached. He resigned before articles of impeachment were drawn up.
Okay, I thought
basically they went to him and said, "Mr. President, you need to resign because you will not survive this."
Yeah.
However, if he does something egregious like firing Mueller without warranted reason and stuff, I feel like they're trying to give him reason to fire Mueller.
Yeah. No, he wants to fire Mueller. Yeah. It's been pretty well reported that he's actively considered it. He hasn't done it yet.
We will see what happens. The Yankees are doing well.
Yes, they are.
They've just won 14 of 15. Did the Red Sox lose yet? The Red Sox lost. I think they'll be.
Last I looked, the Yankees were only 2 games.
They were 1 game out yesterday.
Okay then.
Let's see. Because everyone cares about the Yankees. I don't care where you live. The Yankees are half a game behind the Red Sox right now.
Okay then.
Oh, they're technically in a virtual tie. The Red Sox... Oh, yeah. If the Red Sox lose, the Yankees will be tied with them. If the Red Sox win, the Yankees will be 1 game behind them.
Okay. And the Red Sox are playing right now?
Yeah.
All right.
Are they winning or are they losing? Boston. The Red Sox lost. Oh. I guess the Yankees... Oh, no. The Red Sox are losing 4-1, bottom of the 5th.
Okay, then.
And the Mets are tanking.
Yes, and the Mets are tanking.
The Yankees are 23-10, and the Mets are 17-14. They're finally have more runs allowed than runs scored. They're -8. The Yankees are +59.
Okay, then.
And the worst team in baseball right now is Baltimore, it looks like. Baltimore and Cincinnati are the two worst teams in baseball.
I didn't realize the O's had started tanking again.
Yeah, they've been tanking for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Did he not play? Oh, good. That worked out for me.
What, you're looking at fantasy baseball now?
Yeah. I tried
in the middle of the podcast. Awesome. Schmuck.
Well, I can make money in fantasy baseball.
Oh, can you?
And
you can help us make money by going to www.audibletrial.com/citizenho, where you can sign up for a free 30-day trial account and get a free audiobook download. There are thousands upon thousands of titles to choose from, such as
A Higher Loyalty, Truth, Lies, and Leadership by James Comey, narrated by James Comey.
Oh, goody.
It's an interesting read, but I don't know. He's kind of dry. I'm curious how well he narrates it.
I don't know. I don't know. Even he's sketchy, just like all the others.
Excuse me. So, what else is going on in your boring life?
It's pretty boring.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, nothing.
Oh, jury duty. We can talk about me.
Oh, yes. Scott served jury duty.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us all about it.
So it was a very exciting day. Like, totally exciting.
Oh, share.
Get there at 9 o'clock in the morning. I check in. Like, go take a seat. Take a seat. I had to see a half-hour video about how cool it is to be a juror. Literally is what the video is basically called.
Yeah,
why it's cool to be a juror. Then the jury manager comes out, says, okay, folks, here's how it's going to work. And you're in for a lucky day. It's a slow Monday. There's only one judge in. She has 2 cases. We're not even sure we're going to need jurors today. Sit tight. 11:15 they come out. Okay, you come back at 1:15. Take 2-hour lunch.
Okay.
So there was nothing there. I ate McDonald's for the first time since Chicago. And I remembered why it was the last time I ate. First time I ate McDonald's since Chicago.
Yeah, all right.
Go back at 1:15. At 1:30 they come in like, guys, we're waiting as you. We wait for the phone to ring. Phone hasn't rang. 1:50 she goes, okay, this judge may have 1 case to fill. We're not sure. We will know very shortly. 5 minutes later. Okay, we're going to be, the jury manager's on his way in. We have a case to fill. Jury manager comes in. Okay, here's the deal. We need 6 people on this jury. It's a civil case. Pretty basic. There was only 35 people called that day.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, everybody, let's all go upstairs. We all file into the jury room. Judge gives us the background, talks about being a juror, blah, 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 and then hands a questionnaire to everybody. We all fill it out, and then they filled the jury before I got there. Ironically, had I been called as a potential juror, I probably would have been excused because it was a motorist who ran into a bicyclist, and that happened to me, and I was in a lawsuit involving it as a child.
Right, okay.
And so they
sent you home.
We go downstairs, like, okay, who needs a letter? You guys are excused. You don't have to come back tomorrow. Got the letter and went home. That was my exciting day of jury duty.
And then you're done for 3 years.
At least 3 years. It could be more.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. But they can't call you for 3 years. And then after that, you're eligible again.
Part of me would be interested in serving on a jury, but like the cases just take too damn long. This would have been a 1-day trial. I mean, if I got called on it, I would have been out 1 extra day.
Yeah, it would have been quick. But no, my thing. I would find jury duty interesting. My biggest problem with it is that you're essentially ordered to go there. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have a choice. So therefore, everybody who goes in or most of the people who go in are probably going in with the mindset of, I don't want to be here. Mm-hmm. So then you have a lot of people, and myself included, in there who will who try to get out of it.
It's a lot harder now than it used to be.
Yeah, well, they don't accept too many excuses anymore. Now the way to get out of it is basically to not get picked for the jury.
I mean, the guy that was in there, one of the guys they chose was handicapped.
Okay.
Yeah. I figured that.
And I mean, like, my last jury duty experience was for New York State, and for New York State Supreme Court in Manhattan, which is a little bit different. The one thing that's weird is that for local courts, the way that it generally works, and I think you had this, is you're assigned like a number or some code or something, and then you have to pick up the phone the night before.
Or go online now.
Or go online, and they tell you which like numbers or which groups have to come in the next day. So you find out whether or not you have to come in.
I was group 15.
And you have to do that for a week, and then after that, your jury duty is done. And if you get called in, you go in. If not, you just go about your regular day. For New York State Supreme Court, they just say, you have to show up on this day at this time, period. There's no calling in, nothing. You just show up. And then I checked in. They said, okay, have a seat. Sat down. And then after everybody was in, then we got a little bit of a speech from the jury secretary or whatever he was. He showed us a video about why it's wonderful to be a juror.
I wonder if it was the same video. Well, no, probably not. Mine was actually made by the New Jersey.
Mine was made by New York State. And I forget who was in it, but there was somebody like famous in it too.
Hopefully, it was like Morgan Freeman, because that's just a voice you could always listen to.
No, it wasn't Morgan Freeman.
Christian
Although that
Slater.
would have been cool. No. And then they, when you checked in, you gave them part of your juror card.
Yeah, and they give you a badge.
No, we had two halves. One half you kept, and that was your badge. Mm-hmm. The other half, they basically put in a giant bowl.
Oh,
and then, after they showed us the video and everything, we all sat around there for a little while. And then, eventually, they said, okay, we're calling people for criminal court. And they literally picked names out of the bowl. And they just said, okay, so-and-so, so-and-so, blah, 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 until they had, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 people, whatever it was.
Were you one of those 30, 40, 50?
No, I was not. Because as I've told you the story. I was there. I was involved in a civil case. Yeah. So I was not part of that list, which I was glad about because I didn't want to go to criminal court.
Because the criminal cases take forever.
So then after those people went in, and by the way, I was called in. I was called in to go in on a Thursday. And I think the following day may have been Good Friday or something. I don't remember exactly.
That happened to me once years ago.
But I was called in on a Thursday. And then they said, okay, the rest of you, you're here for civil cases. You just sit tight and we'll call jurors in as we need them. Then they say, okay, we have a case that we have to call people in. And I got called in for that. It was me and it was probably like 20, 30 people total, if even. And the two lawyers for the case, are in there with us. One of them did most of the talking, and the case involved, I think it was a cab driver who hit either a bicycle delivery person or a bike messenger or something. It was basically a cab hit somebody on a bike, and they went through and they asked all these very vague questions about, do you think you could be impartial about this or that or that? And as I've told you, the way that I got around this, my parents always told me, answer every question they ask you with another question. But I remember the first thing they came to me, I was like, I can't really think up a question for this. But the way that I talked through it is, and to a large degree, I was being honest with them, is, okay, you're giving me this very vague information about the case and then asking me if I think I can be impartial for it. But to be honest, I've kind of seen both sides of this. And there's, in some cases, I may agree with one side, and in some cases, I may agree with the other side. But I've been on both sides of that fence, and I don't know enough about this case to tell you where I might fall or if I can be impartial, because you're not telling me enough. Mm-hmm. But the idea, it's not so much of answer every question with a question.
It's showing that the lawyer is showing to the lawyer.
Make the lawyers believe that you are somebody who has your own opinions and that you're not going to be swayed by them. Because ultimately, that's what a lawyer wants.
The case I sat in for, the defendant was African American, so the plaintiff's attorney excused all minorities from the jury.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, the big thing is because the lawyers are going to want people that they think they can sway to their side. Because it's not just about, are you going to agree with one lawyer, or you're going to agree with another lawyer. Because, and for the other thing is, they don't tell you enough about the case to know what you're going to agree with. But it's always, yeah, one lawyer may like you, but if that one likes you, the other one probably won't. Their key is they want somebody who they think they can sway. That's what they want. They want somebody who they think they can sway to their side of the argument. And if you don't seem like a person that they're gonna be able to do that with, somebody who they think that they can manipulate to their side of the argument, then they don't want you there.
Correct.
Because, yeah, one lawyer may agree with you, but then the other one isn't going to. And if they don't think they can sway you, then they don't want you.
Either one of them can get rid of you.
Exactly. And therefore, that is the key. As long as one lawyer doesn't want you, that's all that matters. And in my case, in the case that I was called in for, it was because it was a cab driver versus a bike messenger or a bike delivery person. I said, cab drivers are crazy drivers, and I see, I've dealt with them both as a pedestrian and as a fellow driver, and I think they don't know what they're doing. At the same time, I've also seen bike messengers that are lunatics.
Didn't we see a cab accident once walking by your parents' house years ago? Wasn't that like, I remember seeing...
Possibly.
It was like late at night. I think it was like my birthday or something. We were walking like back to your parents' apartment, and there was like a car accident.
That could be possible. Yeah, I don't recall that specifically, but... But yeah, cabs are nuts. A lot of cab drivers drive like maniacs, and when you're a pedestrian, you could almost be hit by a cab at any moment. And at the same time, as a driver or as a pedestrian, you could almost be hit by a crazy bike messenger too, because some of them are lunatics also.
Well, bikers in general don't obey traffic laws in the city at all.
Yeah, well, that too.
Well, anyway, that's a whole different subject. But anyway, it's time for movies.
Yeah, sure.
Movies.
Uh-huh. All right, so coming out this week, first we have Like Arrows, starring Micah Lynn Hansen, Alan Powell, and Beth Becca. You're odd. When rebellion creeps into their family, Charlie and Alice realize their approach to raising children isn't working, and they start searching for answers. But is it too late? Family Life's first feature film explores the joys and heartaches of parenting. Through a story that unfolds over 50 years, Charlie and Alice discover the power of family and their need for God.
It's a one-day only release, and it's a religious movie.
Faith.
Rotten.
Can't believe you get to read this one.
Overboard. Anafaris. Eugenio
Derbez.
Ava Longoria. Overboard focuses on Leonardo, Eugene Derby, a selfish, spoiled, rich playboy from Mexico's richest family, and Kate, Ana Faris, a working-class single mother of 3 hired to clean Leonardo's luxury yacht. After unjustly firing Kate and refusing to pay her, Leonardo falls overboard when partying too hard and wakes up on the Oregon coast with amnesia. Kate shows up at the hospital and, to get payback, convinces Leonardo that he is her husband and puts him to work for the first time in his life. At first miserable and inept, Leonardo slowly settles in. Eventually, he earns the respect of his new family and coworkers, but with Leonardo's billionaire family hot on their trail and the possibility of his memory returning at any moment, will their new family last, or will Leonardo finally put the clues together and leave them for good? So this is a remake of the Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell movie?
Yes, it is.
I'm going rotten.
I kind of need to go rotten on this.
I didn't love the original.
I like the original, but I just don't see this being that good. All right, next.
I do think Ana Faris is good. They did like a gender swap thing.
Yeah. Anyway, next we have Andover, starring Jonathan Silverman. Okay. Jennifer Finnegan and Bai Ling. A genetics professor, Jonathan Silverman, clones his dead wife, Jennifer Finnegan, but the woman he creates is different than the woman he loved. So he tries over and over in a desperate attempt to get her back exactly as she was.
Rotten.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I think it's Endover, not Andover. Because he keeps doing it over and over again.
Maybe. Andover. All right, anyway.
Okay. Bad Samaritan. David Tennant, Robert Sheehan. A valet, Robert Sheehan, develops a clever scam to burglarize the houses of rich customers. Things go smoothly until he robs the wrong customer, David Tennant, and discovers a woman being held captive in his home. Afraid of going to prison, he leaves the woman there and makes a call to the police who find nothing when they investigate. Now the valet must endure the wrath of the kidnapper, who seeks revenge on him, all while desperately trying to find and rescue the captive woman he left behind. Actually, it's an interesting concept.
Maybe.
I'm gonna give that fresh. That sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, I'll go fresh for it too.
Plus, I like David
I just
Tennant.
need the change of pace. All right. In the Last Days of the City, starring Khalid Abdallah,
Bless you.
Laila Sami, and Hanan Youssef. The fictional story of a filmmaker from downtown Cairo played by Khalid Abdallah as he struggles to capture the soul of a city on edge while facing loss in his own life. Documentary cred.
Yep. Racer and the Jailbird. Matthias Schoenaerts.
Sure.
Adele X Archopoulos. How's that?
Exarchopoulos. I don't know.
As a member of a notorious Brussels gang renowned for their expertly executed robberies, Gigi Matthias tends to his front, a luxury automobile import-export business in his downtime. Sparks fly when he meets glamorous and affluent race car driver Bibi, Adele, and despite their wildly different backgrounds, the pair fall instantly and tragically in love. While Gigi attempts to break away from his illicit history, two things stand in the couple's way to a happy life together. An unrelenting mob hungry for another heist, and the cops that are closing in on them. Foreign film cred?
Done. Yeah, foreign film cred. RBG. At the age of 84, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has developed a breathtaking legal legacy while becoming an unexpected pop culture icon. But without a definitive Ginsburg biography, the unique personal journey of this diminutive, quiet warrior's rise to the nation's highest court has been largely unknown, even to some of her biggest fans, until now. Documentary cred.
And RBG cred, because she's cool.
All right, anyway.
Taco Shop. Tyler Posey. Carlos Alazraqui. Eric Roberts.
Roberts. Okay,
Discovering
then.
his mother's in debt and losing their family home. Smokes. The character's name is Smokes. Tyler
Okay.
Posey gives up his plan to resign from Taco Dollar and open his own shop. The pressure mounts when a gourmet taco truck parks across the street and threatens the survival of Taco Dollar. An all-out war ensues as Bruce, Brian Husky, and his band of cholos challenges the crew of Taco Dollar for taco supremacy. Can Smokes unite his co-workers and fight to save Taco Dollar? So this is like Good Burger, but with tacos?
Maybe.
Rodden.
Eric Roberts' lack of cred. All right. The 12th Man, starring Thomas Gustad, I don't know, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, Mads Sjogard Pedersen, I don't know, Norway, 1943. After a failed anti-Nazi sabotage mission leaves his 11 comrades dead, Norwegian resistance fighter Jan Balsrud, Thomas Gulstad, finds himself on the run from the Gestapo through the snowbound Arctic reaches of Scandinavia. It's a harrowing journey across unforgiving frozen wilderness that will stretch on for months and force Jan to take extreme action in order to survive. World War II cred.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, actually it does.
The Guardians. Natalie Bay, Laura Smet, Iris Bry.
Okay then.
The woman of the Paradis farm, under the deft hands of Hortense, the family's matriarch, Natalie Bay, must grapple with the workload while the men are off at the front. Initially, the mysterious Francine's, Iris Bry's arrival, is welcome for her diligence and tirelessness. Soon enough, emotions run high when the sons return on leave, and Francine becomes the center for familial disturbance.
Okay.
I'm
I'll
going
go fresh for it.
I'm going to go
Why not?
rotted on this one.
Fine. Hee. The Son of Bigfoot, starring Pappy Faulkner, Chris Parson, and Terrence Stone. Teenage outsider Adam sets out on an epic and daring quest to uncover the mystery behind his long-lost dad, only to find out that he is none other than the legendary Bigfoot. He has been hiding deep in the forest for years to protect himself and his family from Hairco, a giant corporation eager to run scientific experiments with his special DNA. As father and son start making up for lost time, Adam soon discovers that he too is gifted with superpowers beyond his imagination. But little do they know, Hairco is on their tail, as Adam's traces have led them to Bigfoot. It's animated, but
It sounds like shit.
still sounds really stupid. Rotten.
Tully. Charlize Theron, Mackenzie Davis, Ron Livingston. Marlowe, Academy Law Award winner Charlize Theron, a mother of 3, including a newborn, is gifted a night nanny by her brother Mark Duplass. Hesitant to the extravagance at first, Marlowe comes to form a unique bond with a thoughtful, surprising, and sometimes challenging young nanny named Tully, Mackenzie Davis. I'm going fresh on this. I like
go
Charlize.
fresh on this also, actually. All right, last but not least, we have The Boxcar Children, Surprise Island, starring Martin Sheen, J.K. Simmons, and Griffin Cluck. The Alden children have a home with their grandfather now, but their adventures are just beginning. The first surprise comes when they learn they'll be spending the summer on their private island. A kind stranger who lives there is always happy to help the children out, but does this friend have a secret?
It's a one-day-only release, and it sounds shitty. Rotten.
Yeah, I have to go rotten on that also.
Right.
I just don't buy it.
Dude, Flickster.
Doot. Yeah. Come on, hurry up.
What, you want me to get out of here?
No, I just don't want to wait and try and sit here and talk and fill time.
Well, your Wi-Fi sucks. It's loading.
My Wi-Fi is just fine.
There we go.
Punk. What, because your phone shut off? It's my fault?
No, the phone just shut off. It's the app. Try it again.
Ah.
Off Wi-Fi. I bet it works better that way.
For shame.
It's your fault.
Not my fault. Dumbass. Yeah.
See, we're 2 hours off the Wi-Fi. Okay, Tully, 89%.
Okay, then.
Disobedience, did we do? I don't think so. Nope.
No.
Overboard, 30%.
Yeah.
The Son of Bigfoot, 74%.
Damn.
Bad Samaritan, Rotten, 56%. RBG, Fresh, 93%. The Guardians, 94%. You got the circle, Kevin gets the square. The 12th Man is Fresh. I think we both got that one. What else? Altered Perception, did we do that one? No. Alright, time to search. What was it? Like Arrows. Like Arrows, no reviews. Andover. No reviews.
Aww.
In the Last Days of the City. Come on, you piece of shit.
Bitch.
In the Last Days of the City. Fresh, 85%. We got that.
Okay.
Racer and the Jailbird. Sounds like a really bad superhero team. I think this is it. I think it's called Le Fidèle. Yeah, that's it. Rotten.
Okay.
Foreign Film Cred failed us.
Boo Earns.
Taco Shop. Oh, this looks awful. No reviews. And the Boxcar Children, last one. There we go. No reviews. Alright. So, housekeeping. Download, like us, review us, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes, Facebook us, Citizen Ho, tweet us at Citizen Ho Pod, Instagram at Citizen Ho Pod, email us, dumbass@citizenho.com. I'm Scott.
I'm Kevin.
Be excellent to each other.
Bye-bye.
Station.